here's the deal. Midoriya, you still haven't proven I can trust you again. Unfortunately, I'm positive that if I try to stop you now, you'll do something reckless and attempt to take things into your own hands. So I'll watch you. If you're going to see this through, you gotta do it the right way. Use your head. You hear me, problem child?
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
My sweet waifu.
Is that you? Mic check. Mic check, waifu. Tell. Is that you?
What's happening, Mr. Polo Born Flies? Mic check, waifu. What's going on?
Up, brother? Hey, this is episode 24 of Mic check, waifu. We have a loaded show for you today. Very heavy show for you today, I should say. Oh man, but I'm Polo, that's Tell, and we're here to discuss some anime. First, we're probably gonna start off with some anime we've been watching, some of the more recent animes, and then we're gonna do a review discussion of Erased. Oh boy, that is something. And then, of course, the second half after the break, we're gonna talk about My Hero Academia. But first, let's thank our sponsor. Shout out to Lube Complex. Go to lubecomplex.com and use the offer code waifu to save on your entire cart. The owner of Lube Complex is out at DesignerCon right now, showing off some designs. I saw that. Yeah, it's pretty dope. And tomorrow, well, the day that we record this, there's a new hoodie dropping in Lube No, tomorrow, actually. So when you hear this, wait.
No, the day before they hear this.
Oh, okay. So day before you hear this. Either way, go to lubecomplex.com. There's a new dope ass hoodie in the shop right now. Check our social media, at Mic check waifu on Twitter, or waifu, just one waifu, and see this.
2 waifus on Instagram.
Yeah, 2 waifus on Instagram. This hoodie is incredible. And use that offer code waifu. Also, hey, shout out to teespring.com/store/Mic check waifu. Check out that merch. That's our own specific merch for the podcast. It's the hat that tells rocking in the video version if you're a Patreon supporter. It's so incredible. I love that hat. Thank you all so much for supporting us. And also, we also got to thank the people that keep our lights on, people that keeps us going, keeps us doing this. Our Patreon supporters, our producers. That'll be Monique Williams, Chris Goodywin, and Connor. We love you so very, very much, family. You guys are the best. And to all of our other Patreon supporters, you are all also awesome. We appreciate you. So let's get this thing cracking. I want to start off with something that I was going to tell ahead of time about, but I'm going to just kind of throw it at him now. So all right. One of the shows I was going to talk about today was Fire Force. Okay. Have you seen the most recent episode of Fire Force?
I have.
Incredible, right? Incredible. Okay. Now the reason why I say this, and it's so coincidental that this happened at the same time that we had the discussion that we had on Mic Check Encore. You remember the discussion we had on Mic Check Encore?
No, what was it?
So it was the Black Clover one.
Okay, yeah.
And how we talked about what's the problem with Black Clover. If you're not familiar, be a Patreon supporter, okay? Just for $3, you get an extra entire podcast of us just talking about whatever we want. In that episode, we discussed the problem with Black Clover, okay? TDOR of that is the problem with Black Clover is, and we discussed this in the Facebook group with a bunch of people because a lot of people in our Facebook group loves Black Clover. And I am like the one that stands out as to like the one not liking this as much.
And I don't think you're the only one who doesn't like it.
It feels like it in the Facebook.
I'm happy that you're outspoken about it because, I mean, let's be real. If you don't like something, we got to speak up about it.
I be throwing bows in that Facebook group like, no, it's not. No, it's opinion based anyway. I just be messing around with y'all. But no, seriously, problem with Black Clover, and we discussed this in that Mic Check Encore, episode 10, is that they gain powers so massively quickly that is so detrimental to the show's like world story building or progression period. And it's not just with our main characters. It's with everybody in the show. So if you watch Black Clover, you know, during a fight, no matter who it is, it could be a main character or not, no matter who it is, when they're in a tight squeeze, when they're getting their ass whooped, or they can't figure out a way to win this battle, magically a page appears and they gain more powers. And now it's not like a minute spell, right? It's never just a minute spell. It's always something drastic, something huge that's just
a game changer. Right? Like, and it comes out of nowhere. It doesn't feel earned, and it doesn't feel special in any way, in any sense of the word. And the show just sucks, okay, in my opinion. Not only does the animation sucks, the story is lackluster. The best part about the show is the villains and their motivations. That's the best part about the show. I will die. Like that I will take that to my grave. That's the only good thing about the show is the villains. And that's going to change probably here soon. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry. I wanted to say, I'm very happy you actually sprung that on me because I was thinking the same thing, but in a different context, right? Mm-hmm. I was watching Sword Art Online, War of the Underworld, right? Mm-hmm. And we have all of these knights who were once against Kirito and everybody, you know, all our good guys. And they were fighting Kirito and Kirito popping off on them, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. But I was watching the last two episodes. Like I watched the one episode last week and then the episode this week.
I missed this episode.
And the knights, if you recall, they're getting in a pinch and they pop out with some overpowered ability, right?
Right.
And the thing is, I think this is the difference between how Sword Art did it and how Black Clover did it. In Sword Art, they're in the middle of like an absolute war. Mm-hmm. You know, the character is outnumbered by not 2 people, but like 10, 15, 20 people. This is a war they had already been preparing for. And then these are also the highest skill level characters in the show, you know, right? So they're bound to have some tricks that we don't know about because the only other person we saw them fight was Kirito.
Right.
So it doesn't feel out of place for them to pop out with some powers.
That's
you know?
different. That's a whole different story because of the simple fact is we don't know what they have.
It's also a game.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not uncommon for you to be playing a video game, right? Like you leveling up your character. Like let's say Pokemon. We just been playing Pokemon recently, right? Yeah. I hit level 50 with a Pokemon. My Pokemon learned Fire Blast. All of a sudden, I'm replacing Flamethrower with Fire Blast, and I got an even stronger move. Right. You know? Yeah. So it's like that's not uncommon in the game sense, right? So in this world, it feels completely justified, completely fitting. Also, not to mention that, you know, alongside the extremely detailed backstory we already have with this show, it tends to work a lot better. Yeah. Whereas I have to agree, Black Clover is not doing it right, dude.
It doesn't do it right. It feels so rushed and just sped up. But I bring up that point to mention, like, my first point. What makes Fire Force so good is its pacing. They brought this training episode almost perfectly in line with what we just discussed about Black Clover. And I'm that's all I can think about when I was watching this episode. I'm like, yeah, they must have heard us or something. Because this was the perfect definition of how you do it. They train, and they train with Benny Maru, who's a freaking beast, by the way.
He's the best of the captains.
Yeah, the best fighter of all the captains in the Fire Force. And it wasn't like they get some outlandish power that's unreasonable to this world. They get a power that's perfectly like associated with who they are. Like Arthur, he's a fighter, so he needs to spar with the best. Shinra, he needs to find a way to hone his flame and use it to his advantage. And that's what he did. Like the way he taught it, it was perfect. This is what the Black Clover should have had a long time ago, probably 100 episodes ago.
What I liked most about it was actually the fact that, like, so what I was expecting was obviously for Arthur, it was for them to play off the fact that the more confidence he feels, the stronger he is. Right. But no, that doesn't really matter because if he's a better fighter, he's going to have more confidence. So they didn't even bring that whole factor into this.
100%.
They literally they're literally just like, hey, if you become a better fighter because you have to be close up with your sword, you're going to be better at everything, right? Even if your sword flame is like crap, if you can fight better, it won't make a difference. For Shinra, it was literally the fact that, hey, you can focus your chi and your energy in your body to a special point. And that way you can
get off what you need to do. You can focus your flames into essentially a smaller funnel and blast off.
Right.
Now they did the very same thing in My Hero Academia.
Yep.
And if you remember, that's when our boy Bakugo, he closed his fingers with his bomb.
That's when they got
and made that nozzle an explosion.
Yeah.
But also they're currently doing that in the manga too. They're trying to focus and specialize their abilities.
Yeah.
So it's like these other series have these training situations where they don't need a lot of situations where they're training. It literally can just be one episode of training.
Right.
But it's like, we need to understand that these guys aren't just like leveling up with experience out of nowhere.
I'm real quick though. I'm gonna bring up something that Desmond said in the Facebook group. He was like, well, that's, if you look at his argument to me when I mentioned the fact that all of their stuff feels unearned. He says, he said like, but that's with every anime. And I just had to disagree with him because of, like, yes, every anime character or main character alone gets their major power in a sense, in a dire need, like when it's
especially in shonen.
Yeah, especially in shonen, where they absolutely need to get that power. So Dragon Ball Z, it happens. My Hero, it happens. I mean, you name it. Whatever shonen you can think of, they get that special power. But what I stated to him is that, but they always worked for it first. They always worked for it and got to that point when they got that power, not just magically gained it during a battle.
And that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite anime is Shariba Felt Night.
Mm-hmm.
My boy Ikikuragane had no power. He had to sacrifice his own blood and tears to actually be able to do anything. In Ippo, Hajime no Ippo, it's a boxing anime. All Ippo had was pure power, you know?
Yeah.
And then through fights, he would gain like experience. But even before the fights, he had to learn how to do stuff before he got up to that fight, you know? Because he learned how to do a Dempsey roll before the fight, but he couldn't really do it because, you know, he never practiced it in a fight. So that fight, he might try it, get hit out of it, and then he has to win with his old techniques because he doesn't have that fully under his belt yet.
Yeah. So
there are anime that do it properly where our characters are training and working hard towards something, and there's other anime who just kind of cut corners.
And let's talk about the importance of that. Like, when they cut corners, I get the sense that I'm watching it. This is my personal feeling. When I see that, I just feel so uninvested. Yeah, I feel cheated. Like, I'm just like, okay, all right, okay. You know, it's like, I don't care. Again, the show is, I mean, okay, let me broaden this out. The world of the show, the whole wizard stuff, the grimoires and shit, that stuff is cool. That, like, the power setup they got going on, the whole world itself, the way the world is laid out. And again, the villains and their motives are so good that's what keeps me going 109 episodes in. But like, when everything is literally it's going like times 4 speed, essentially, with like everything. So that means everything suffers. So it's not doing one thing well. You got again, everybody knows how bad the animation is. There's no sense of bringing that up. The animation is garbo. Like, sometimes characters look like completely different characters in scenes, and it's crazy. So besides that point, you got a story that's being fast forwarded so fast because they have to get these people these powers in order to beat the big bad. But like, the big bad is the biggest bad of them all. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's when the biggest bad of them all is basically terrorizing the city. These people have to gain these extraordinary powers that they didn't train for, that they didn't earn. And it's in order to beat the big bad, because that's what it feels like is happening. All of our characters are just getting these awesome powers as quickly as possible so they can go ahead and fight the real licked and probably fucking beat them eventually. But I don't know. You know, manga spoiler, so we ain't gonna go into that. That's exactly what it feels like. And I can't believe people are just so in love with this show. Like, they will go for bat for this show.
And even the manga does that same thing wrong, you know? Yeah. Like, you kind of just roll through it in the manga, though, and just kind of like let it go.
You're reading.
But in the anime, it's like, my dude, you didn't earn that win. Like, like, I get it. If it happened one time, like, for instance, we'll talk about Noelle, right? When she pulled out that water barrier, literally Noelle had no control of her power, and all of a sudden she pulled out a water barrier. That's different, because in the aspect of that, when she put out the water barrier, it was like, I've never had the need or want to protect somebody like this before. Right? So that's different. But then she pulls out this whole suit of armor that makes her extremely fast, extremely powerful, godlike. She literally is one of the strongest wizards in the whole world now, because she's doing what her mom did, who was considered like a top level wizard. And it's like,
oh my god, sorry.
It's just like the whole idea of it. It's like, you literally just gave her a power up that was like, think about how Goku went Super Saiyan, right? Like, when Goku initially went Super Saiyan, he was getting his ass beat.
Time out though. Even before that, he was training. He was training hard as fuck on his way to the Namek. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was going hard. Like, he was fucking. He was going ham. So, like, when I wanted to bring up about Noelle before we got past that was Noelle literally had no indication, no foresight into even having the ability to do this. In the show, they didn't mention that at all. They didn't flash back to her mom being able to do that. They didn't do any of that in the show.
In the manga, they did, but it wasn't long enough to like they literally just showed her mom in this suit of like mercury armor, and that was it. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't in the show. It was none of that. Like, none of that happened. They showed the picture of her, of course, but I think that was it. So I'm just sitting there like, what the? How?
Oh, yeah, Noelle didn't even know that.
Did it. Yeah, her mom. She didn't even know her mom did it. So, like, how would you even get? And then, not to mention, not only does she get this incredible power, but she knows how to control it right off the bat. After her whole arc was, I don't know how to control my powers. You feel me? Like,
she can make a giant water dragon that can hit people now, but before, when she made the water dragon, it went.
Yeah, exactly. And now she can. It's whatever. Well, I'm done dogging Black Clover. It's a bad show. I'm gonna keep watching it. I'm 109 episodes. I'm invested, so I might as well keep going. But that's the reason why I wanted to bring that up, because Fire Force had one of the best training episodes I think I've seen in any anime, because again, their sound design is incredible. It's I would say it's unmatched, but not anymore.
Not anymore? Why you say that?
Because that Babylonian fucking show, the Fate show is sounded. I haven't watched it yet.
You're photable.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I planned on waiting for the dubs to stack up. They're on dub episode 3. So I'm gonna just wait till it stack up a little bit more and then go off on that binge, because I watch essentially their episode 0 of that show, and the voice actors are phenomenal. So it's like Astro Lost in Space situation where I'm invested with the dub characters because they're dope.
It'd be like that, And
then with that sound design, I'm gonna be able to actually pay closer attention. I'm gonna love it.
With those headphones on?
Yeah.
Those Sennheiser headphones?
Oh, no, these AKGs, but
Oh, okay. I don't say them boys is like them Sennheiser, them 2500 joints.
No, hell no.
Hey, I want to get those. I had a little bit of discount on those. Them $2,500 headphones, I got them for like $2,000.
Those are incredible. Those are incredible. But yeah, that's why I wanted to bring up Fire Force. That training episode was dope. I cannot wait to see the next episode of that show. I'm gonna post some pictures from that episode. That art, man, something about Fire Force art. It feels perfect to me.
Well, you didn't watch Soul Eater.
No.
It's a very simplistic style, but very stylized, right?
Yeah.
So like, if you look at how they do, like even some of the like the features of the characters, like Shinra and then the new Skull dude, their eyes are completely different.
Yeah.
But they still have a similar like art style to them.
Yeah.
So the artist for this show kind of mixes like almost like the anime media style. Like he's drawing from different concepts, but making it still like come together well with his style. So I think it's overall like one of the better looking designs. The shading is really cool because it's not like overdone. It doesn't look super realistic, but it still has that like cool tone to it. So overall, Fire Force is amazing. Yeah,
it really is. It keeps getting better too. It's just like Dr. Stone. It just keeps getting better, man.
I remember when you was hating on Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone, it still isn't as good as Fire Force.
It's these last few episodes though. It's just like
Exactly. Because they're starting to move it along now at a pace that is more reasonable until they go to a flashback, probably next episode. I'm going to predict it now. They're going to go into a flashback and it's going to be a long ass flashback that's unnecessary. But
I mean, 2 months just passed. I don't know if they're going to go into a flashback. I think it's time for them to attack.
Yes, I can't wait. Get that cell phone going.
Yeah. Now, one of the anime I actually wanted to talk about was Fate Grand Order.
Yeah, do your thing.
And basically, it's kind of more about that clip that I showed you, right? Mm-hmm. The clip that I posted in the Facebook group was a battle between the goddess Tiamat, who is the goddess of beast. That's like an actual mythological creature. Tiamat is in D&D and mythology. Oh, yeah. And Tiamat takes many different forms. Tiamat is like a serpent, a dragon, a multi-headed dragon. It just depends on what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Well, in this Fate Grand Order, as you know, they draw from different historical figures, mythological figures.
Yeah.
In this battle, we have Yushikawa, we have Leonidas, we have and Tiamat, and then we have Tiamat's child. And the thing is with this battle, and I don't really want to go into like details about it too much. It's just the fact that this is like classic Ufotable without the movie budget, right? So their movie budget is ridiculous and it looks way better. But for this to be a week-to-week anime,
I mean, doing shit like that.
It looks so good. The voices, all right, obviously they're in Japanese, but even the voices themselves sound amazing.
They sound real good.
They feel like they draw you into the emotion. And I've watched some subs that felt like almost like the voices were bland. Mm-hmm. This studio does not do that.
Yeah. Both ways.
The animation, when they get into battles, kind of like how we talked about Black Clover, you don't have that quality drop where all of a sudden it's unwatchable. Like the faces don't match up anymore or the frames drop or anything like that.
Yeah.
We had the moment in this episode with Leonidas squaring off with a god by himself, right? And technically this god is a servant, just like Leonidas is. But we also learned something, that Leonidas is one of the world's strongest protectors. So he's one of the strongest spirits in this world. Mm. And he did some damage, dude. Like, they did him justice. Like, it was almost like watching the movie 300, but with Leonidas by himself, but spiritually having all his people with him.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're sleeping on Fate Grand Order.
Everybody is.
I've been watching it, but I feel like I haven't been saying as much about it as I should.
Well,
I almost feel like a traitor.
Because I need to watch it, bro. I gotta watch it. I'm gonna be behind 3 episodes, but
it's okay, bro. If you want to talk about it, I'm gonna start watching it in dubs.
Okay.
If you want to talk about it, because this series, I've always been invested in Fate series. I've always loved it since the first episode, right?
Go back to episode 1 of Mike Check Waifu. Waifu proves that.
But this one is probably, I'm going to say, is my favorite of the Fate series.
Ooh.
So far, because it could definitely go south. It's my favorite of the Fate series. I feel like the fight scenes are equivalent to Unlimited Blade Works, if not better. The only fight scene that's better than Unlimited Blade Works to me is the actual Gilgamesh versus Emiya fight. Mm-hmm. But if they continue at this rate, because to me, every single animated fight in this series was like a top tier anime fight. Like this is worthy of like some highlights every week.
Yeah.
But like, for instance, this week, that scene I had to share, it was 12 minutes. Like, they went into the episode, no opening or anything. It's like, all right, we throwing hands.
I love those. I love when they do that.
It was like, do you want your opening credits? We're going to put the opening credits in the beginning. You're going to see the people who animated this show. next to our main characters talking and fighting.
Yeah, I'm gonna start watching it. Next week I'm gonna be 4 episodes into the dubbed, and then we can start talking about at least the first 4 episodes.
Now, I do want to say the only thing I want to talk about is a slight spoiler, but they did say something about it in the clip that I showed you.
Yeah.
And the only reason I want to talk about this is because of like the history and the mythology behind it. And this is why I like the Fate series so much and love it and adore it and just think it's amazing. They talked about, so the character that you see in that clip I posted in the Facebook group or in the beginning of this episode is Merlin. He is what they call a grand caster, which is the highest level caster you can be in the Fate world. There's no one stronger than a grand caster other than other grand casters. So Merlin is a grand caster, but he has no attack ability. He is completely attackless, but his abilities include illusions, probably time manipulation, anything like that. But in this clip that I shared in Facebook, they said something about Merlin being a half incubus. Yeah. Which, if you know anything about an incubus, they're essentially like demons who live off the energy of others, right?
Right.
Now, what was really interesting is that Merlin has said something about, if I am unconscious, I can't explain it right now, but it's very bad if I go unconscious. And he said this in the face of like his allies, as well as in the face of the demon Tiamat, or the enemy Tiamat that he's fighting, the goddess Tiamat. And in historically, when incubuses or incubi or succubi go unconscious, they no longer have any control over their urges. Incubi and succubi are naturally like sexual creatures, and they feed off the either sexual energy or energies of other creatures. And I'm just like, so basically what he's saying is that if he does go to sleep, if he goes unconscious, it's a wrap for everybody. His powerless state is null if he does. And now it just foreshadowed a whole part that I want to see. I can't wait to see in the future that I hope they do. And I just want to see Merlin now at this point go unconscious. Yeah. And it's like, obviously they don't even have to do it. They could never do that and it would still be a great series. But I just love the attention to detail in that, right? Yeah. That's like, even like I said, even in Leonidas fight, in the Merlin fight, they give you little details that are historically correct or mythologically correct in that person's or creature's like history.
Mythology. Yeah, it's definitely a show that has like historians a part of that writing for sure. Yeah. Big fans of history a part of that show.
Or just crazy Dungeons and Dragons player.
More history than Dungeons.
More history for sure. I'm just messing around. But no, man. There's so much to appreciate about the Fate series that is almost like, I think that if we were to go into like the history of each individual character, it would be episodes long. Yeah, I just really want to talk about that because that's something to be appreciated, even though it has this ridiculous sound animation or sound design, this ridiculous animation. There's even more detail in the series, and that's why I think so far this is probably one of my more favorite series parts of the series, because of those they gave more attention to detail to some of these things that they didn't give in other episodes or other series or seasons.
That's dope. Yeah, I can't wait to start watching it because what you just said, I mean, I understand the mythology behind that. I want to see I don't know these characters at all. I know some of them because of episode 0, but like I don't know them well enough to even understand what the hell is going on. So I'm definitely going to watch it now. Thanks to that ringing endorsement. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode.
Let's do it.
And that's the review of Erased. Man. Okay, so if you haven't watched Erased, please pause the podcast. Go watch it. Set aside about 5 hours. It's 13 episodes long. Technically 12, because they do have like a recap episode in there that you don't need to watch at all.
The digest.
Yeah, the digest. I skipped it because, I mean, I was literally binging it, so I didn't really need that.
Exactly.
So it's about episode 6, so you can skip that. Watch the entire show. Do not listen to this podcast because we will spoil the hell out of a show that does not need to be spoiled. Like, this show is big if you watch it knowing nothing, like it was with The Promised Neverland. So if you know nothing about this show, do not listen any further. Pause it, come back when you finish watching it, and then tell us what you think. I'm giving you about 3 seconds to leave. Okay. Now let's spoil Erase. Dog. I said this in the
the podcast exclusive, the Patreon exclusive podcast, I knew it was that motherfucker the whole fucking time.
So Monique and I were talking about this, and you know, she watches Law and Order, CSI, all that stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. And I was telling her, like, when I went into the show initially, my very first time watching, like, this was my third time watching the show from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. And my first time watching it, I had no idea who it was.
And you could easily miss it too.
Yeah, but I also think that I wasn't going into the show looking for, you know, who it was.
Right.
I was so enthralled in just the idea of, like, I was caught off guard by how the show began.
Yeah.
Like, it almost starts off as in, like, oh, this is a cool concept. And then you see, you know, our boy's mom gets murdered. Mm-hmm. And you're like, hold up, what did I jump into? No one told me, hey, go watch Erased or anything like that. It literally was just, I woke up one day, I saw it was on Crunchyroll, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go watch it. So, like, to kind of jump into a series that you had no idea about, and then you get blindsided by a murder almost, and that was the first episode. You know, you kind of get like, you kind of trip out, and I wasn't expecting it.
So let me tell you how it went for me. So for me, I'd start the show. Boom. I'm thinking this, you told me, well, it's not quite like a slice of life. I'm like, oh shit. So I know to expect a little bit more. So I knew a little bit more than I probably should have. But watching it, I can see how you can go into it as a slice of life, but you then see you get hit with a revival. His little revival thing that happens. I'm like,
in like the
shit.
First few minutes. Yeah.
That alone could have carried this entire show. Him and as an adult with the power of a revival would have been phenomenal in itself. Okay, so I'm watching it.
Explain that a little bit better for listeners.
Yeah. So I'm start watching it. This guy basically is narrating or monologuing what he calls revival. Revival is essentially him doing something throughout the day, and he basically goes backwards in time about 5 minutes. He goes back about 5 minutes, and he can kind of relive something because that means something bad is about to happen. So he has 5 minutes to figure out what that bad thing actually is and try to prevent it before it happens. So essentially, he's doing his piece of delivery. He gets hit with a revival. The revival take him back 5 minutes. He's looking around trying to figure out what's wrong. It's this guy who actually died of a heart attack behind the wheel of a semi truck. And he's literally just speeding down a busy street. A kid is attempting, about to hit the little kid. A kid is crossing the street. He then goes up and he pulls the truck out of the way and saves the little kid. Mind you, that part, that revival part, again, we're talking about the show knowing that you obviously watched it too, listeners. So again, if you haven't, make sure you have. But with that springs off this whole nother thing because, like Tell said, his mother gets fucking taken out and he's freaking out because the cop, he basically gets set up to be the killer, and the cops are all like already there and they coming to catch him. And then he gets back to 1988 with a fucking mass revival that was insane. And when that happened, dog, it blew my fucking mind. But dude, let me tell you this. I swear this is true. This is exactly true. When he hit that revival and he was in this school and he was looking at the teacher and he was like monologuing in his head, I'm like, man, something don't seem right. This is exactly what I said out loud, laying in my bed. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning because I literally watched it that whole day. I did not stop. I literally looked at because I was on my phone. I was laying in the bed. I'm like, something ain't right about this teacher, because the teacher was fucking perfect. He was awesome. He was an awesome teacher. And as soon as I said that, I'm like, no, he's not, something ain't right with him. And in the show, I'm like, it's the motherfucking teacher. It's the motherfucking teacher. As the episodes progressed, dude, and that had me so captivated. And oh man, I just was in love with this show. Everything in this show is great.
So yeah, that teacher, for one, you are 100% right.
Like,
was a creep.
Something about him, man.
Well, it was that idea that Yashiro was so perfect that there had to be something overall wrong with him.
I just thought he killed his mother, though. Like, I didn't even think about the whole kidnapping part until
the other parts. Yeah. And I think they did such a good job at the misdirection.
100%.
to kind of like make you think that there's other sources, even if it wasn't like Hinazuki, who is the little girl's mom who was being kidnapped for a while or kept being killed or murdered.
Right.
Kaio Hinazuki was the little girl, but so
I loved her, by the way. She was an awesome character.
Yeah, right. So even though like he comes to this time, and what kind of happens is he gets this realization, this remembrance that like there was this series of murders that their parents had wanted them to forget of these like kids going missing and whatnot. And they were all girls. And the only one that wasn't a girl was one that kind of looked like a girl.
Yeah, various.
And that was their friend, Hiromi.
Yep.
Hiromi, who was a guy, but kind of looked like a girl. So, that was the only one of the characters who was killed who wasn't an actual female. And the ridiculous part about it was that like I said, when we talk about the misdirection, they kind of give you this sense that, okay, Hinazuki's mom or Kaio Hinazuki's mom beats on her, lets her husband beat on her. She comes up, dead. And, there's a couple of different things that happen. So obviously when she dies, our guy, Satoru, kind of goes back and forth between his time periods and whatnot. But the thing that makes that like almost like I said, that solid misdirection is the fact that you kind of see that the husband's there drinking constantly and just watching TV. Right. In our mind, being, I guess, a regular American or even like a regular human being, we see a man, who is in the household with a young girl being abused or anything like that. We assume instantly that either A, he's beating her, abusing her, or sexually abusing her or anything like that.
I thought the teacher.
So, and yeah, like you're not wrong with the teacher though, because he clearly was doing something. Yeah. The teacher was just taking advantage of those situations, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But these students, these kids had to be in poor situations to begin with before the teacher would even touch them.
That's true.
So it was like,
well, it's a little bit different for Himaru or Himimaru, however they say it.
Hiromi.
Yeah. Because he killed him for basically just a cover up.
Yeah, just to cover up, to make it seem like he wasn't going after girls specifically.
Right, because his thing was to get two girls, okay? Was essentially those two main girls. It was the girl, the main character girl, and then some other girl.
A girl from another school.
Another elementary school. His goes
Izumi Elementary.
Yeah. But in order to cover his tracks, the best way to do it was to set his blame on the guy that showed up at the park all the time and talked to all the kids and stuff like that. And the best way to do that is to make him believe that this other quote unquote girl character, which is actually a dude who's just super feminine at the time, to basically kill him because he got mad because he wasn't actually a girl type deal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's why they killed him. But dude, again, all of that aside, the show is phenomenal because emotionally it draws you in. Like it
doesn't draw you in, it locks you in.
Yeah, exactly. It takes your fucking heart and it squeezes it and twists it because you root for these characters so hard. Like you want everything that goes to go right, and boy, does shit go wrong.
I do want to talk about one other thing. Yeah. Really, before we start giving ratings and stuff.
No, yeah, we got a little bit.
I really wanted to talk about kind of like those last two episodes, right?
The rollout. Yeah. So
let's not jump there directly, right? But Yashiro ends up finding out that Fuji or that Satoru has the ability, or not ability, but knows about what Yashiro was doing, the teacher.
Yeah.
And basically he tries to kill Satoru by fastening his seatbelt in a car, that in one of his multiple cars he has stashed around the city, which sounds like something a psychopath, sociopath killer would do.
Yep.
And drives him into the lake. Last thing we see, Monique had lost her breath at this point. I'm pretty sure she thought our main character was dead. We see Satoru go into the water, and that's the end of it. We go to the next episode.
Right.
We find out he's in a coma, wakes up, 14 years later, 15 years later?
15 years, yep.
Wakes up 15 years later in, 2003?
Yep.
No, 2006.
2006. All right.
Yeah.
He wakes up 15 years later, and basically, what happens is he's in the hospital. Obviously, his mom had been taking care of him, and literally every day, 4 hours a day, she was working on his muscles, hooked him up to electronic machines that would make his muscles work and activate, so that he wasn't like completely like loss of muscle, devoid of muscle, and stuff like that. And he kind of wakes up, and he doesn't have his memory. Everything is still fuzzy. He needs to see and relate to people before he can get his memory back. And he kind of does that over time with meeting his friends who have been waiting for him all this time to come out of his coma.
Specifically, one friend.
Yeah, Hinazuki.
Mm-hmm.
She comes in. And I like that too. I really did like that, how like before, when each of those other characters showed up, it would show him trying to remember things and it was still fuzzy.
Yeah.
But when she came, it was like, nope, it's back.
Let me tell you how I felt about that real quick.
Okay, I know you're going to say something. Go ahead. What you about to say?
Go ahead and take a guess at what I'm about to say.
Go ahead. About how Hiromi swooped in on that?
Yes, man. I was so sorry, bro.
So, like,
damn.
Like, I thought that was dope, though, because, like,
was it?
First of all, Hiromi was like, we never even would have thought of Hiromi getting any girl.
Well, yeah.
We didn't know. We didn't know. And then he swooped in and was like, yo, I'm sorry, but I'm going to take your chick.
Not
like,
only
and
take her.
Had a baby. Yeah, look. He was asleep for 15 years. Sadoro has no choice but to understand.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. It's 15 years you've been asleep. But like, I thought she kind of felt the same way he did. So that's what hurt me the most.
That's your slice of life spirit.
Yeah, that's my slice of life. I mean, that it kind of reminded me a little bit of Clinad, but minus the tears, because Clinad's way sadder. But yeah, it was like rough, man. It was like, oh, all right, well, damn. I kind of wanted them to be, I kind of wanted that happily ever after, but I also like the fact that it wasn't just a happily ever after, even after he woke up. So
this whole series was rough.
It was rough.
Every episode was a little rough.
But it wasn't okay. So when he says rough, though, when you say rough, it's not rough in a bad way at all.
Yeah, it's rough as in like you're invested in these characters.
Yep.
I think from the first episode, you kind of have an understanding. And then from episode 2 on,
his mom was the greatest.
Yeah, I loved how he was calling her yokai, right? And Monica's like, she knows what's going on. Monica's like, she has the same ability he has. And it's just things you're trying to figure out, right? But it's like, he called her yokai because she just knows things without knowing. She just has that intuition, right? But it's like, you think about like, she just comes in, hey, my son needs to be taken care of, so I'm going to take care of my son.
Yep. Every trick.
So it's like, that's why he called her yokai, and you can kind of understand.
Yokai.
Like she's 55 years old, but look like she's 23.
Yeah, she's dope. His mom was a dope character. She's definitely the waifu of the show.
Right.
Let's get into some ratings, but first the ending. Now the way it ended when Yoshiro took him to the roof, I'm like, yeah, this motherfucker about to get his ass caught. But then Yoshiro's like, I'm kind of smart. I know you got a cell phone on you. You're probably talking to somebody downstairs, and you're probably about to try to get me to confess. He takes the phone out and just breaks it, throws it out the way. I'm like, oh, shit, there goes that plan. But I know he got another plan. He has to have another plan because he has to know that Yoshiro was smart enough to know that he was going to do some shit like that.
Right.
Sure enough, he did. Like when he threw himself off the roof, I really thought he was going to kill himself because he didn't end up with the girl. That was the one thing about the show I was absolutely wrong about, because I thought that's why he was killing himself.
I was done. At that point, I didn't even want to watch the last episode because I'm like, why would you do this?
Yep.
And then it was like, so it was such a heartfelt moment because you almost like, and I'm not going to say you sympathized with him, but you almost like sympathized with Yashiro when he kind of says, you can't live without me.
Yeah.
Satoru says to Yashiro, you can't live without me. You didn't kill me for 15 years because you needed closure. You needed me. Yep. I'm here for you and you won't progress without me.
Yep.
And you kind of get like this feeling in your heart, like, oh my God.
I didn't give a fuck I didn't give a fuck about him because I thought he was sacrificing himself because not only did he not get the girl that everybody believed he wanted.
He should have got, yeah.
Yeah, he should have got. But he feel like he's like just going to take himself out because then that Yoshiro would take himself out to get rid of the evil, I guess, right?
Yeah.
He would kill himself to get rid of the lesser evil. Which I'm like, but he said I couldn't even. He even said like I can't even fulfill that hole in my heart anymore.
Yeah,
which is sadistic as hell, by the way. Ugh. But he's like I can't fill this void in my heart now because I needed you to wake up. I needed to, I guess, kill him, essentially, or at least find out like how the fuck did he know my future? Yeah,
right. Now, when he finally let go of the chair, when Yashiro finally let go of the chair,
I thought it was over.
And we saw Satoru fall. I was like,
yeah.
So what happens from here? Right. Like
it's still one more.
Well, it's a whole other episode. What happens? And we see, Satoru fall. And then Yashiro kind of goes to the edge and he spreads his arm and he's like, I'm going to take the step two. I'm just going to fall. And this is going to be the end of it, right? Just like what Polo's like, this is what it's going to be. Yep. We sacrifice yourself to get the sacrifice of the other. And we see Satoru lands in like a parachute, basically. A giant beanbag and is smiling. Yeah. I caught you, dude. We got you.
That wink, though. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I was like, hell yeah. I literally said hell yeah while landing in my bed. It was dope.
Yeah. That, in my personal opinion, this is one of my favorite endings.
Yeah. It was great.
Even if they haven't given us that whole last episode, that was a great ending. They could have ended it right there and I'd have been like,
yeah, right.
This is perfect. Thank you. You deserve a praise. Here's your Emmy. I don't know about an Emmy, but I'm just saying, like, that ending was like perfect. That's what we wanted. He was caught. And then they did give us more closure, though, which was also really good.
Which is dope. Yeah.
But we got our bad guy caught. We see Satoru go back to living everyday life. He's now a full-time manga. Yeah, he's a full-time mangaka. So he does his manga full-time. He finished his book, and he even had a chance to meet Eri again.
Yeah,
and that was the part to me that was also like perfect ending. There you go. Like, yeah, she's 17. When she turned 18, you can smash. Go ahead. But like, you finally completed everything. The people that were supposed to die did not die.
Mm-hmm.
You saved everyone. Eri, your mom, Hinazuki, Hiromi, what's the other girl name? Masato, and there was one more girl. But the girl from Izumi. But you saved everybody, dude.
Yeah.
So like at this point,
mission accomplished.
Yeah, mission accomplished. You literally did it. Like, how many heroes in a show can we say? He's like, I want to be a superhero. That is like literally the equivalent of a superhero.
Exactly.
You did it.
Straight up. The show is great. Let's get into these ratings really quick.
So, number 1, pacing.
9.5. The pacing was great. The only reason why it's not a 10 for me is because of the digest, and that would be great for the people who's like catching it week to week, but I wasn't. So
I'm giving it a 10 for pacing.
Okay.
Story.
10. 10.
That's something we happen to agree on.
That story was
animation. I'm gonna go first on this one.
Okay.
I think the animation was good, but it was, to me, it was like there was nothing specifically above and beyond about the animation.
Yep.
So I'm gonna give it like a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a solid 7. I didn't like some of the character designs. That's it.
Was it like Caillou, the fat dude?
It was him.
Kazu?
It was. I didn't like the way they did the mom lips too.
Yeah, they trying to make her lips like thick, but they also did that with the other girl too.
Right.
The Izumi girl, they made her lips thicker. But Kenya had a great design. Kenya was my favorite design. He was the blonde hair friend.
Yeah,
his design was dope.
He was awesome, stellar. And then it wasn't like really anything special with like the animation period. It was kind of just blah.
The highest quality part of the animation was the butterfly.
Yep.
Everything else was like, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Sound design.
It wasn't really hidden. The music was okay though.
But it was only okay in certain parts.
Yeah, exactly.
When the emotions got deep. So I think for the emotional parts, it was like, if we were counting especially like emotional parts, it was a 10. But if we're talking about like the entire series, my personal opinion is probably like an 8.
Oh, I'll give it about a 6.5.
Still okay. Well, you got a 6.5.
Sorry. The music, good, the music on only like maybe 3 parts was good to me.
And then
like the intro either.
Monique, the intro was stuck in Monique's head.
I couldn't stand the intro. I literally so fast.
When we wasn't watching it, she was singing the intro. And then the final thing is characters. I went first on the last 2. So what you thinking on the characters? I have my number.
I'm gonna go with shit. Because when I think about I didn't like the airy girl, but that was it. I'm gonna go with a 9. I'm gonna go with a 9 on that.
I'm gonna go with a 10 on the characters because
the characters were perfect.
I think every character played their role perfectly.
Really?
Like, yeah, like okay. And I'm not trying to persuade you.
No, yes, you're not. 9 is fine. 9 is great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to persuade you. 9 is great. Satoru, I personally can't think of a character. He played the nonchalant character as well as the character who was the hero. He did both. He filled both of those roles perfectly.
He also had to go back to being a kid again.
Exactly. Kyle, she was the emotionally distraught, emotionally destroyed child who grew into this, who became friends with other people, like finally maintained and gained friends, showed her love, and grew up and, had a whole family after that. Yeah. His mom was the fucking truth, period. I don't even think we need to say anything about that.
She's the reason why it's a 9.
Yeah. Kazu, to me, he was like the shy, overweight dude who was like upfront with his feelings though. So like to me, every character had their point. And Kenya to me was like the Itachi, or not Itachi, the Sasuke, but was like a good guy, not like that
Sasuke.
Yeah, not the edgy asshole kind of guy. He was like, I'm kind of edgy. I'm the cool guy, but I want to do all of the right things.
The only reason, let me just tell you exactly. Let me justify my 9 a little bit. The only reason why the characters get a 9 in this show for me is there were the mom, our main dude character, the emotionally destroyed girl, like you said, and to me, and Yoshiro were the only 4 characters to me that carried this fucking show heavy, bro. They carried it strongly. The rest supporting characters were okay. Even like Hinazuki's mom, she was really good, like acting wise and as an evil bitch, she was really good. But like the rest of the supporting characters were just fodder to me. Like, I mean, his what ended up being his best friend was cool, but he was just cool. Like you say, he was just an emo dude. It wasn't enough greatness around the supporting cast to make it a 10 for me, in my personal opinion. So that's why I gave it a 9.
And I get it, that's just the reality of the scenario, bro.
Yeah, straight up. Straight up. Was that it?
That's it.
All right.
So, doing the calculations for the rating.
Oof, this is where it get intense. What is Erase gonna have on a mic check waifu scale? We still you gotta text me that scale, and I'm gonna put it in the tweet. Just let people know.
All right.
What our rating systems are. I can't wait. I cannot wait. And maybe we should add it to our Facebook group description as well, so people can start rating it on the mic check waifu scale.
So, on the mic check waifu scale,
okay,
Erase ranks at an 8.75.
Okay.
Which, oddly enough, is 0.05 below Demon Slayer, making it our lowest ranked rating so far.
Wow, no way. Erase is below Demon Slayer. We done fucked up. No, it's not. It's okay. That's okay, actually.
I mean, and I think our ratings are actually pretty solid to me. So, like, if we go from like our worst ranking to the highest ranking, Erase is 8.75, Demon Slayer is an 8.8, Promised Neverland is a 9.3, and Astral Lost in Space is a perfect 10.
Damn. Ooh. Yeah, you gotta send me all those too, along with our scale. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. Listen, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back with My Hero Talk. Holy crap, that's a good. Our rank is pretty good.
Yeah.
Shout out to those who stuck with us through that. Sorry, excuse me. I'm drinking some ginger ale because I have terrible heartburn. But thank you all so much for sticking with us through that ranking. If you listened to this far, we appreciate you. Let us know what you think of our ratings by tweeting at us at MikeCheckWaifu or writing into the show proper. And that's by going to MikeCheckWaifu.com/contact. So, yeah, I really want to know what you guys think of that. I'm going to post a tweet about our ranking systems and what we rated stuff so far. We're going to do some more reviews later on in this podcast series. But next episode, we're going to bring a dope topic that was brought to you by one of our patrons. So be on the lookout for that. And we're going to take this quick break. We're going to play a song that I personally enjoy. Just to kind of like what this song does to me is it puts me in the mood where I can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the intricacies. You know the word I'm trying to say.
Intricacies.
Yes, of this song and the way it's built. It's Lilo once again. I love this song so very much, and it hits very
always a banger.
Definitely a banger. So enjoy the song, and we'll be right back.
Baby, do me nicely. Baby, do me nicely. Step into my bed, baby, do me nicely, baby, do me
Once again, welcome back to my check Waifu. That Lilo once again is incredible. I enjoy that song so very, very much.
Song is fire, man.
It puts me in a good mood. I don't know why. Like a more chill mood. It puts me
in all the moods. Yeah. Like I could be sad and listen to that song. I could be happy and listen to that song.
Straight up.
I could be hyped and listen to that song.
Straight up. Anyway, welcome back to my check Waifu episode 24. This is the part of the podcast where we talk about our show, My Hero, this time. What's going to be next after My Hero? I guess it's whatever come out in the winter, right?
It depends, because I think we got like 24 episodes of My Hero.
Yeah, we do.
So
that's 24 weeks.
I think about 12 weeks we'll probably know what's coming.
True.
And we can probably choose off of that.
Good point. That's a good point. So episode 6 of season 4 of My Hero Academia, we will spoil it. So if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. I mean, it's dubbed or subbed. You can't miss this episode. So like, if you haven't watched it, shame on you. Full spoilers. I just want to say it's been slow, but it's been slow intentionally. I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure of that. And I'm okay with it. I wasn't as okay with it the last episode, but this episode, I'm okay with it being a little slower because
this is one of my more favorite episodes.
Yeah, the exposition in this one was necessary. It felt necessary. It felt very important for them to get all of that stuff laid out so then we can get into the meat and potatoes, the gravy.
Yeah. And what I want to say is that also, like you said, it was slow. Like it's been slow.
True.
It was slow, but full of tension.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's kind of like how I would put it, right? Yeah. So like most people expect tension in shows through action and progression like that, right?
Yeah.
This progressed without all of the tension,
right?
And then or progressed with all of the action, but still providing that tension that you want for like the series or the episode to grow,
right?
And this episode had all of that. It was like no action, but it was like getting you anticipating, like getting you prepared and ready for like the real BS that's about to go down.
Right. It's definitely gonna get real next episode. You can tell because they suiting up. So what I mean, overall though, like this episode, was probably my favorite one so far. And this goes to like this episode made me just love Eraser even more. Like he's just, I mean, as you heard at the beginning of the podcast, we threw that quick Eraser monologue to Midoriya. He's great, man. He's a great character. Like just all around. And not only that, it made me remember that he's a dope ass fighter too, dude. Like, yeah, he's incredible.
It makes you think about like his quirk is literally like he just puts people on a basic hand-to-hand level and then he can fight them. So it's like you gotta be dope if you just making people like fight you one-on-one with the hands, right? Exactly. You have to be dope.
He's dope, man. He's dope. So okay, the gist of this episode is all of the heroes got together. Well, not all of them. Different heroes in different like zones got together to discuss the overhaul. All of the information they have on overhaul, the bullets, what he's planning to do, and the girl. What's the girl name again?
Eri.
And Eri as well. So like all of that is brought front and center, and we noticed that like they talked about their priority is to save Eri. Screw everything else for right now. They just want to save Eri because they witnessed they got a feeling some heinous stuff is happening to her.
Yeah.
They believe that she's the one making the bullets like out of her quirk, but really it's overhaul, right?
Well, what they said, and this is why Eri is. There's a couple reasons why I think they want to save Eri.
Try not to manga spoiler too, by the way.
I'm not. I'm saying why I think they want to save Eri because this is just my speculation. So right off the bat, obviously Eri is being tortured and whatever, right? She doesn't want to be with Overhaul. But how they put it in the show was that it would seem that there are human cells in the making of like the bullets and whatnot. Mm-hmm. They know what Overhaul's quirk is.
Right.
They actually called him Overhaul once in this show, in this episode specifically. So they know that his quirk can take people apart and put them back together. So what they insinuated is that he was doing that to Eri.
Right.
And I think that, yes, they want to save Eri for her own well-being, but it's also to stop the production of these weapons.
Yeah.
So it's imperative that they do this, because if obviously if these weapons get out, who's gonna be able to fight Overhaul? You know,
right.
Only our dude or Ijiro Kirishima who can harden his body, because Fats can't fight him. Anybody who has regular skin can't fight him. That's crazy. That's what they doing. You know, even like heroes like or villains like Muscular, who had really big muscles. If it touches you and gets inside your body, you lose your quirk.
I'm just looking forward to seeing ways that they're going to actually take this guy down, because we saw what happens when he just touches you. So like, what's going to happen? Like, how do you fight that? How do you beat that? Right. Like, and that's my main thought process going into this entire season, is how the hell do you beat an Overhaul type quirk?
You got to beat him before he touches you. Touch him before he touches you.
Exactly. That's going to be crazy. So you need somebody else with degenerative powers or whatever, like our guy who just teamed up with him. I don't know.
Did you see our first what is this? What is his name? Keylock, or the Lock Hero?
Oh, the first the black dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was something else. His voice acting dub was dope, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I had to go back and listen to that.
Yeah, it was really dope. I'm like, oh shit.
He's actually really cool in the manga too.
Yeah. What's his quirk? I guess they're gonna explain it soon enough.
Do you want me to actually tell you?
Nah. I would like to know.
You can look at him and figure it out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I like it though. I like him. I mean, he was kind of shooting the real, like, yo, why we got these kids here, man? Like, this is obviously something more serious. We're gonna have to keep explaining every minute detail. And
the kids keep interrupting.
Yeah, he's speaking the real. I like him.
For real. Because I mean, like, you look at this, they got they don't have Bakugo or Shoto there, but they got Ochaka. They got what's her name? Suya. Yeah, Uraraka. Or I was calling her Suya because that's her name. But they got Kirishima. Mm-hmm. So they got a bunch of the like kids here, and not even the strongest kids, you know.
Yeah. They
got just some of the kids here, and they about to get into some real like stuff. Like these Overhaul is not a joke. No. So far, Overhaul is the biggest threat they faced since All for One, and All Might did that. All Might fought All for One. So no one really had to fight All for One but All Might. So this is the biggest struggle they've had since they lost their number one hero and haven't necessarily designated a new number one yet.
I mean, you can already kind of foreshadow what's going to happen here. All Might is going to get involved and get overhauled his way up out of this show. So that's going to be unfortunate. So that's going to
let me drink my water. He's overhauled. He said, "Oh my God, get involved and get overhauled about this show."
So it's like, it sucks, man.
That's your prediction?
That's my prediction, bro. He about to get straight up overhauled, dog.
He gonna be like, United States and my arm gone.
You about to get Thanos snapped away, bro.
That's foul. Oh man.
You about to get Thanos snapped.
I ain't gonna give you no spoilers. That's funny. That's funny, dude. That's crazy.
It sucks, but yeah, it is what it is, man. Hey, but seriously though, this episode was good. The music in My Hero is the fucking best, bro. The swells and the dips and they do it so well, man.
It's never like too loud or too soft.
Yeah, and it's
like
it's never same mix of.
The crescendo is perfect. Like it goes from like that super low to slowly creeping, and it stays at that level until it needs to go and it hits that. Yeah, man.
And the way they
My Hero's doing it.
The way they remix is their own like theme song, like it's perfect. It's amazing. It's top quality, man. And even though My Hero isn't in my top 5 anymore, it fell down to like number 7 thanks to
Astro Lost in Space.
Astro Lost in Space and The Promised Neverland. But it's still such a great show, man. It cannot be understated how great this show is. And if you're a Marvel fan, man, I got a feeling we got to get some people that like superhero shit into the show. They'll love it. They'll love it. Hopefully,
this is the one.
Yeah, hopefully, like if you're binging My Hero, it's the best. But like, kind of in this situation where it's kind of like trickling out, I can see why people won't like it. I hope nobody catches this show right now. Because right now, if you're just jumping in the middle of this, you probably wouldn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to start from the beginning. And if you start from the beginning and you get to this point, you're already invested. And you're like, oh, I can't wait. It's like One Piece isn't good if you just jump to episode 900.
You true.
You're just like, why am I watching this?
Well, One Piece just isn't good, period. But we ain't gonna talk about that. I don't think I did my One Piece dig last episode. Damn.
You didn't. That's didn't. Crazy. No shots at One Piece.
I missed a week. Oh well.
I thought you threw in the towel.
That show sucks. But you're right though. You can't just jump into any show in the middle of it, especially one like this. It's great though. This episode was great. I'm looking forward to next week. Next week I think it's gonna finally ramp up, but it's probably gonna be one of those situations to where it's more monologuing and then it's gonna ramp up at the very end of the episode, which is gonna suck. But I'm ready for it anyway. I love it.
My prediction, not having seen the next episode and not knowing exactly how it's gonna go, I think that there's gonna be a lot less monologue, more of like trying to
execute the plan.
I think there's gonna be more progression. Yeah. I think that they're gonna figure out where they need to go early on in the episode and then get there and then action is gonna hit.
That'd be dope. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm predicting personally, and this is partially because I think they're gonna have overhaul. I don't know, but because I think like there's just if we're getting 24 episodes, I think overhaul will be figured out, and they will see overhaul and get into the deep with overhaul by episode 12 or 13.
Oh, okay.
So I think we have a few more episodes till we get to actual overhaul, but we gonna be at overhaul's face by then.
100%. Okay, I feel that. I'm with that. And with that, let's wrap episode 24, the Kobe of Mic Check Waifu. Hey, listen, everybody, thank you so much for listening. These episodes have been doing so well. Even our review episodes, which we knew would kind of take a dip because not everybody's watched The Promised Neverland, so they don't want to be spoiled. And I understand that. But hey, thank you so much for listening anyway. You guys have been awesome to us these past few weeks. The growth has been insane. We see it. We love you. We appreciate you. Don't forget, check out our Patreon if you're interested in getting our Mic Check Encore. Mic Check Encore is, I feel, and not to sound like sadistic or anything, but Mic Check Encore has to be our best work for real. Because it's just us in a nutshell, where we're not following any particular structure. We're just going, and it's fun. It's a good time. Even listening back to it, it's a really good time. So check out Patreon if you're interested. Support the show via that. Get extra bonus episodes of us and early content and stuff. Stickers later coming soon. And also pay attention to our Teespring store because we're going to have a sale, a Black Friday sale on our merch. So, yeah. Be ready for that. But with that, we're going to wrap. Thanks for listening to Mic Check Waifu. We love you. I'm Polo, at Polo Bornfly on all social media.
I'm King Teliano on all social media.
And we out. Peace.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
My sweet waifu.
Is that you?
One way or another.